While Dave Dombrowski said on Tuesday that they are content with where they're at, the New York Mets continue to add star power to their lineup. And while the Mets might not be the biggest threat right now, it still is leaving a sour taste in a lot of Phillies fans' mouth as of now. We're going to get into all of it on the newest episode of Phillies Digest today. My name is Luke Arcaini. It's been an interesting couple days in the Phillies world as far as some moves the Mets have made, some comments that Dombrowski has made, and all of that. We're going to talk about it all today. But I do have a quick word for you guys really quick. Before we get into the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi, as you see here on the screen. When you download Kalshi using the link below and enter code DIGESTMLB, you will get $20 when you trade your first $100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the entire United States. On their platform, you could trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, and pretty much everything. And whether you're in California, Texas, Nebraska, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. For all my sports fans watching this video, trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out any time. Phillies, obviously, season is coming up on us here. They have markets for each division winner. NL East, obviously, as you can see here, the Mets currently have the best percentage on Kalshi to win the division. I don't really believe that. I think it should be the Phillies, but that means you're getting a good deal here on Kalshi. It's genuinely a smarter way to use your sports or news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. So download Kalshi with the link in the description. Don't forget to use code DIGESTMLB and get your $20 bonus. And thank you once again to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. All right, we are back here on the newest episode of Phillies Digest. But once again, like I said, it's been a bit of an interesting week. And we're going to get to that in a second. So let's tweet out of that. But it's been interesting. And obviously the Phillies lost out on Bichette. The Mets got him. The Mets traded for Freddie Peralta. The Mets are making moves. The Mets traded for Luis Robert. The Phillies are not right now. Dave Dombrowski comes out with the comments on Tuesday, I think, that they're content. And this is kind of where I'm at right now because so I said yesterday, and obviously you could see from the replies, people didn't take this the right way. But I said I completely understand the offseason hasn't gone how most people want it, especially over the last week or so. But it feels like the Phillies' negativity has gone a little too far. There's absolutely a reason to be down. I think you should be after this offseason. But with that, I think some of the takes that I've seen about the season are a little bit overboard. And I do want to kind of reiterate what I mean by this, because I'm not sitting here and telling you that you're overreacting to a bad offseason by Dave Dombrowski, because it hasn't been a good one. They were in on Bichette. They lost out on Bichette. I have a hard time blaming Dombrowski for losing out just because he put the offer Bichette wanted on the table and Bichette took the Mets offer. But where I believe fans are justified in being mad is, the we're content and watching the Mets get better, and it just sort of feels like to me that the Phillies hit a bit of a stalemate recently. They made some moves in the beginning of the season, or in the beginning of the offseason. But what I'm really getting at here is I truly think that I don't think people. Sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. What I'm saying here is that I think the people are getting a little bit, up in the air too far about the roster that is assembled. I think the Phillies are still a good team. They're a 90-win team. They can still win the division. They can still make a run in the playoffs if they get hot at the right time. But I'm completely understanding why people are mad about the offseason. And I mean, listen, last night, Mets traded for Freddie Peralta. Yes, it was two pretty damn good prospects, but, sometimes you got to pay to win. And no, I would not have traded Aiden Miller for Freddie Peralta right now, but luckily the Mets have a better farm system than the Phillies, and the Mets have more prospects to be able to deal right now to continue to get better. But it just feels like right now Dombrowski is starting to not lose people because no matter what people say, they'll all be ready on opening day. But it just feels like he's not helping his case here, and he's not helping John Middleton's case of wanting his effing trophy back. And it just seems like there's room for things here to go south more likely than they are to go north. But at the same time, like I said, the Phillies have a good roster. Like, are they better than they were last year? No. But they won 96 games last year. They won the division. The Dodgers said the Phillies were the opponent they least wanted to see. Like, they hung toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. I get it. It's a weird time right now because while Dave Dombrowski deserves to be criticized for the offseason that he's had, he's been a little bit handcuffed with money this offseason. Some moves, truly, like Bichette, just haven't gone his way. And deep down, obviously, as he said, we're content and we like our club. You should like your club. It's still a good baseball team. But I don't think he's understanding where the fans might be coming from right now. The Rob Thomson comments the other day about running it back. Maybe Thomson doesn't really get the whole run it back phrase because it's not necessarily about like percentage of players that were on your roster. But, when you continue to put Alec Bohm in trade talks and then continue to bring him back and you continue to flash Brandon Marsh as a potential trade piece and continue to bring him back. And it's just JT, right? JT feels like the second option right now. I mean, it was pretty obvious on the Zoom the other day. Dave Dombrowski basically said Bo Bichette was our first option. Once we couldn't get him, we immediately called JT back. It must be nice for JT to know, he was basically the second option. The vibes are just a little weird. I do have a couple updates just really quick, not full video-worthy stuff, but just sort of wanted to give you guys some updates. Mackenzie Gore is now out of the division. The Nationals traded him to the Texas Rangers in a 5-prospect for Mackenzie Gore deal. But luckily for the Phillies open up the season with the Texas Rangers. So they will probably open up with Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, and Mackenzie Gore. And just one little note here. I know there's some mixed feelings about this just because of his season last year and wanting him to have a full spring training to get ready for this upcoming season. Aaron Nola will pitch for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic. That was announced by Rob Thomson at the Philadelphia Sports Writers Association banquet on Wednesday night. But that's just kind of where my thoughts are right now. This was kind of just a, get all my thoughts out kind of video. And I want to know all your thoughts down in the comments. How do you feel about the Phillies right now when it comes to Dombrowski, when it comes to the roster, when it comes to, in comparison to the division, in comparison to the league? Let me know down in the comments. But this has been the newest episode of Phillies Digest. My name is Luke Arcaini, and I will see you guys next time.